Hi once again. As already told, the second video describes the Gardner's multiple intelligence concept. The traditional view of intelligence is based on the belief that human cognition is a unitary quantifiable intelligence. However, Howard Gardner formulated a new paradigm of intelligence with the assumption that the human being cognition is pluralistic and non-static. He, in due course, opened up 8 avenues of intelligence of young minds. In other words, a cognition of a person depends on 8 different types of intelligence. Let us see the model of multiple intelligence as proposed by Gardner in detail in this video. Moreover, this section doesn't stop over there. It explores the ECE perspective of MI theory in helping you identify the special intelligence with which and every child possesses. At the end of this video, you will be able to understand Gardner's model of multiple intelligence and realize how a young mind processes information with a preferred learning choice. The second outcome would be that you will be able to identify children with certain intelligence to better understand them and alter the teaching approach in such a way that every child is benefited. Gardner defines intelligence regarding 3 abilities of a person, namely the ability to encounter and solve real-life problems, the ability to generate new problems and its solution. Third is the ability that would contribute to the social causes and that of being valued in his or her cultural limit. Based on this definition, Gardner identified 8 distinct types of intelligence and proposed that every intelligence are of equal value. In other words, no one intelligence is better than the other. According to Gardner, as I already told you, there are 8 major multiple intelligence, namely verbal, linguistic, logical or mathematical, third is musical, fourth is visual or spatial, fifth is body or kinesthetic, sixth interpersonal, seventh intelligence is the intrapersonal, and eighth is the naturalist intelligence. The model that is going to be shown to you now will define each of this intelligence and above the period of early childhood with specifications of how the child processes the information received and its corresponding learning style. We will see each of this intelligence in terms of its definition. How do the children process information of that particular type of intelligence? How is the learning choice and what are the career prospects later? The first one is verbal linguistic intelligence. It is said to be the potential to express himself and understand others. They use words and language to process information. The learning choice of the child would be either by oral or written methods. The child would become a writer or an orator later. And now into the logical and mathematical intelligence. It is defined as the ability to excel in numbers and quantities. They process information by analyzing, grouping, and categorizing. The choice of learning is either by numbers or patterns and connections. Later age, their career prospect would be towards being a scientist or a philosopher. Then the third intelligence is all about the musical intelligence. It is defined as the sensitivity of a child towards music and sound. It would be easy for the child to process the information by means of sound, rhythm, and music. The learning choice is simply by musical metaphors. Of course, their career prospect would be either an entertainer or a musician. Then the fourth intelligence is visual or otherwise called spatial intelligence. It is nothing but the awareness of physical space as well as the arts. They use pictures, visuals, and imagery to process the information that they receive. And their learning choice is a sense of direction, and either they think in 3 dimensions. Their career prospect is either they become an architect or an engineer or a sculptor. Now, how do we define body or kinesthetic intelligence? It is defined as the awareness of their own body, others' body, and movement. The information processing is mainly through their body muscle, sensation and movement. Their preferred learning choice would be using their body as an avenue for learning and self-expression. Of course, their career prospects, either they become an athlete or dancer or a surgeon or even an actor. Then it is all about the interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence is an understanding towards interacting with others. They process the information in relation to others as they are considered to be the people's people. The learning choice is to respond or recognize and empathize towards others. Hence, a career prospect will be just they become a counselor or a teacher. Then what is intrapersonal intelligence? Intrapersonal is all about an awareness of what he or she can do based on their own confidence. They process information through strong sense of themselves, their wants and needs, and their learning choice is self-reflective. So they would become a poet or an efficiency expert later. The last intelligent but most important is naturalist intelligence. It is an understanding and sensitivity on living things or environment around them. They process information by means of nature and with their aesthetic sense. Their learning choice is just by aesthetic appreciation. And their career prospect are they are going to become an environmentalist or a social worker. This section of video is going to tell you what is the need to identify the type of intelligence a child is good at. But why should we do this? Why not consider every child the same and adopt a same teaching pedagogy? My dear learners, if you happen to do it, the potential of the child is going to be a waste. It is very important to identify the specific intelligence of every child and steer your teaching approach as per their level of intelligence and as the foundation for a strong, productive and sustained learning has to be laid in the first 6 years of a child's life. The following section would provide you a clue for you, the ECE facilitator, in identifying the type of intelligence a child is good at. Now, how will you identify the verbal or linguistic multiple intelligence? If a child is good in certain things, like whatever is shown to you, then the child is said to be verbally or linguistically intelligent. First one is the child, if it's able to write or spell better than average for age. They enjoy listening or telling stories. And if they have a good memory of names, places, information, etc. And they have a liking towards reading books. And they have an interest in rhymes, tongue twisters, etc. And if they have a vocabulary for his age. Then how do you identify children with logical or mathematical intelligence? A child can be identified by means of being curious to know how things work. And if they have liking to have fun with the numbers, and if they really enjoy math class, not every child does it, like to play strategy games like chess, brain teasers or puzzles. They engage themselves in more of computer games. And they have a liking to do experiments. And they like to watch Discovery Channel or visit museums or exhibitions. The third is musical intelligence. And how do you identify it among children? When you recognize children who can easily remember lyrics and sing them, when the child have a good ringing voice, and the child has interest in playing any instruments, or the child speak or move rhythmically, or the child is seen humming or whistling mostly, or tap on a bass with rhythm, or they are being sensitive to any sound. Then how do you identify a child with visual or spatial intelligence? When the child is able to focus on visual details in objects, easily learn maps, charts, etc. And of course, if the child is found daydreaming a lot, enjoy visual arts, and if the child possesses an ability to use art materials and creative drawings, And if the child is able to enjoy visual presentation and gain information from illustrations, and if the child is able to scribble, draw on all available surfaces. How do you identify a child with body or kinesthetic intelligence? These children do excel in one or more sport. They enjoy physical activities such as running and jumping. They have the ability to use their own body appropriately to express himself or herself. They have the ability to mimic others' experiences, show good fine motor skills, and they don't keep hands off objects, and they don't sit still for some time. Identifying interpersonal intelligence is also imperative. You can identify if the child possesses leadership skills, enjoy being with friends, empathize easily, have more close friends, enjoy doing group work, teach other kids in doing things, and if they happen to voluntarily clean the room after an activity, and of course if they act as a magnet in the group. Then intrapersonal intelligence. A child with intrapersonal intelligence seems to be independent. They have a good sense of self-direction and they prefer working alone. They have the capacity of sensibly expressing their feelings. They could take success or failure as a learning experience. And they are people who possess good self-esteem and have a hobby but do not talk much about it. The last intelligence is naturalist intelligence. A child who can talk about favorite places or pets, a child who likes to play in the water or with sand, a child who hangs around pets, a child who enjoys studying nature, plants, animals and environment, a child who collects leaves, flowers and show to others, a child who enjoys a visit to the zoo, museum are said to have naturalist intelligence. Hope this video had clearly portrayed the concept of multiple intelligence as proposed by Gardner and explained to you of all the 8 intelligences. Moreover, this video has also given you an identification strategies that you could use as a facilitator in identifying children of your own class of the special ability that a child has. The next video that follows this video would elaborate you on the implications of both MI theory as well as information processing. Hope to meet you in the next video. Thank you as of now.